It's hard to believe that Yamaha released the R1 onto the Australian market 20 years ago. When that bike came out, it was cutting edge. It was an amazing thing to look at. We thought that nothing could beat it. We thought it was going to be the fastest forever, and how could you make a bike better? Well, this is the latest rendition of the R1, and I'll tell you what, it's packed full of MotoGP features that we never thought we'd see on the road. A cross-plane crank engine, MotoGP-inspired looks, and a MotoGP-inspired electronic system that is very, very similar to what you see on TV. Well, today, we're going to take this bike for a ride. First thing you notice when you get on the R1 is how tall the seat is. It is quite tall, but I'll tell you what, once you get rolling, that's not an issue at all. The second thing you notice though is how much power this thing's got. It really is incredible. Unlike the other manufacturers, Yamaha have really done a good job at taking the best points of their MotoGP bike and really bringing it to the road. When I talk about that, I'm talking about the engine, for example. It's got that big bang cross-plane crank engine, the second generation of that engine, and boy, does it pack some punch. There's no mistaking the sound of that cross-plane crank engine. It's an incredible noise, and you can just feel it pulsing, which is good because when you twist that throttle, that power's there, it's instantaneous, and gee, it gives you a big thrill. That engine is fitted into one of Yamaha's Delta box frames, which they've been making for a long, long time now. And once again, the geometry is straight off of a race bike and from their race department. So you can be assured that it handles well. The chassis and the engine are one part of the bike, but to make it all gel together, you need to have good suspension. And with KYB up front and on rear, this bike really handles well. It's not the smoothest, I've got to say, doesn't absorb bumps on your way to the shop, but it's not made for that. It's made to get out on the road or on the racetrack and have some fun. I love the quick shifter too. It works up and down through the box. It means that you don't have to take your hand or worry about the clutch only when you're taking off from the traffic lights. With that much power on tap, it's important to have a good braking system, and luckily for the Yamaha, they've fitted 320mm twin discs up front and 220mm disc on the back with a twin piston caliper. They also utilise the unified braking system, which means when you apply the front brake, the rear brake is also applied at the right pressure. Electronically speaking, this bike is second to none. It's got an IMU fitted, a 6-axis IMU, and that means that the gyroscope can tell exactly where the bike is and what lean angle it's at. It applies more ABS when it's at full lean angle than it does upright, which means that you've got more performance than ever before. All of the top quality niceties are there that you'd expect on a bike as racy as this. An aluminium fuel tank, TFT dash, and a nice pair of magnesium wheels finish it off. And even in these damp conditions today, the bike is pretty forgiving and easy to ride. Having ridden it on the racetrack, I know how impressive this thing is. Well, I've got goosebumps after that. This R1 reminds me of the same feelings that I had when I rode the bike back in '99. It was incredible back then, and just like that bike, this one has got everything you could ever want and more. It's got more power than you could ever want. Better handling, better brakes, and that electronic system. Boy, it's one of the safest on the road. The new R1 is on point.